Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're actually going to go over some information that I went over yesterday, but has now since been updated because um, I went over a bunch of releases for a bunch of major film releases for the first 6 months of 2021. And basically, it was because some executives had thrown out there that a lot of that was going to be fluid because a lot of people, a lot of studio heads were not confident in putting films in theaters until after July. Basically, the cutoff would have been the July 4th weekend. And everything before that, apparently, was up for shuffling. And as of today, we have several major films from both Sony Pictures and Fox via Disney that are going to be pushed back or have been taken off the release schedule completely. I'm going to go over the major ones here just so we know. Some of these I actually did mention yesterday, so if I'm going over them again, this is the correct. Going to be the correct release dates. I may actually delete my video from yesterday just because most of that information is not correct. Although I have put in the description that there are some updates. So if you are seeing that video and you saw that there are updates, this is the update video basically. So let's dive into this. So let's go with Sony first, since they have kind of more of the top films in this list. Now we're going to go first with the Camilla Cabello led Cinderella live action film, which again I don't know why that is being remade for all God only knows reasons. Probably just because Sony wanted to get in on the live action remake deal, and that the Cinderella story I think is technically, if you're going by the main story, I think it's still public domain. But the Disney-fied version is obviously still owned by Disney. But the delay itself, it was originally supposed to hit theaters on July 16th. It is now being moved to February. It is hitting theaters on July 16th. It was originally going to be premiering on February 5th of this year. So again, before July, it now gets moved to after the July 4th weekend. That seems to be the threshold for all of these films for what they seem to be looking for. Is everything after July 4th seems to be perfectly safe, at least for now. But everything before that seems like it's pretty much up on the chopping block. Now, the other one is the Tom Holland-led Uncharted film, which was originally going to have a mid-July slot, and I think the reason why that was also shifted is because Cinderella is now going to mid-July, so they shifted that. That's going to be moved up to February 11th of 2022. So we'll be able to. So that'll happen then. I believe photography is wrapped on that already, so they're kind of in the post-production phase. So unfortunately, that's probably just going to sit on a shelf for about 6 to 8 months. But regardless, that is the release date they have currently. They also have Peter Rabbit 2: The Runaway, which is a sequel to the 3D animated Peter Rabbit film. So that they did, I think a couple of years ago, like 2017, I want to say. And so that originally was scheduled for April 2nd. That has now been moved to June 11th, which is odd to me because, again, that was, I think the reason why they did that is because Ghostbusters is also moving. Now, Ghostbusters was originally, Ghostbusters Afterlife, I should say, was originally scheduled to be released on June 11th of 2021. Peter Rabbit 2 is now taking that spot. So, because of that, because Sony doesn't want two films releasing on the same weekend for obvious reasons, again, Marvel could learn that lesson, Ghostbusters is going to be shifted from June 11th, and that is now going up to November 11th, so that is, I think that's exactly 6 months. Sorry, that would be about 5 months. So, it's shifting up 5 months, again, more towards the holiday time slot, a bit more towards Thanksgiving, after the horror movies have gone through in October. So I think maybe it could do well there. It's probably going to have a cornerstone on the market, other than I think there might be a Marvel film releasing then, maybe Eternals. But I can't remember exactly which one. And now we also go down to the big Marvel movie that Sony has been pushing, which is probably going to fail miserably, which is Jared Leto's Morbius film, which originally had a sooner release date. It has now been moved to January 21st of 2022. Now, that is a very telling date because most of the time you do not release high-budgeted movies in January. It's really not done. Also, that is January of... You don't release films like that in January. Most of the time, January is reserved for really crappy horror movies and Oscar bait. everything else is pushed to the wayside basically until usually the Valentine's Day weekend in February is usually when you start seeing a bit more of an uptick, because that's when you have your romantic comedies start coming out, a lot of those. A lot of the times they push for other films like that. Deadpool, I believe both of those came out in February when they were released. I know the second one did. I'm pretty sure the first one did. But that's Sony's big slate. Now, that's the other thing, is that right now we don't really know what exactly is going to be going on. But we also know that there's another big one that also got moved. Oh God, I didn't even. I'm actually kind of scanning as I'm talking about this, and there's also the MGM also delayed No Time to Die again until October 8th. So you have a lot going on with this whole thing. There's a lot of delays going on. All of this stuff is fluid. None of it is staying solid at this point. It's not really a good thing. So sorry about that. I did forget to mention James Bond earlier, because I actually didn't see that in terms of the articles, but that has also been moved. That is going to be released on October 8th of this year. And originally it was supposed to be coming out on Easter weekend. So now we move on to the Disney/Fox releases that are going to be coming out. And the Disney Fox releases, there's not as many big name ones. There are some. So there are some Disney releases that are not really that high profile. A lot of Oscar bait type of stuff. Stuff like Nomadland, which I don't think that's actually being delayed. But most of those are from the Fox Searchlight studio. So the ones that are from the Searchlight studio are not getting delayed as much, because also they're smaller films. But I'm really going to mostly concentrate on the major ones that are coming out of Disney. So looking at those, we have really 3 of them or 4 of them that are really high profile. Now, The Kingsman, which is another one that I mentioned yesterday, that is the prequel to the Kingsman films. That was originally going to come out on March 11th. That has been moved to August 20th, which again, late summer, makes sense. They also have an animated film called Ron's Gone Wrong. I haven't really heard about that one. Apparently, that one's been was originally supposed to be hitting in April. That has been moved to October. The Bob's Burgers movie, which was set to come out in, I believe, April, that has been taken off the release schedule entirely. So I guess they have no idea where the hell they're going to put that. And, there's a few others that are kind of a little bit lower down the list. One that actually caught my eye, though, was Del Toro's Nightmare Alley, which I knew he had been making, but I wasn't 100% sure when that was going to come out. Now, originally, that was supposed to come out earlier this year. That has been moved to December 3rd, which is actually a little bit odd for that type of a movie to place that a little bit closer to the holidays. But I get it. I get it. Like I said, that's really the majority of the Disney ones. Like I said, you have the Bob's Burgers movie, you have the Kingsman, and you have that other animated film that I didn't really know that much about. But and then you also have Nightmare Alley, which has an amazing cast attached to it. So there's a lot of shifting going on. I suspect there's probably going to be a lot of shifting going on in the next couple of days as well. So if there's if there's a big influx, if Warner Brothers does the same thing in the next few days, I might make another video about it just to kind of cover those things. But as of right now, that's where we're sitting on a lot of these movies. And like I said, this literally shifted within 24 hours of me making my previous video. So I had to make this so it didn't look like I was a dumbass, or more or less, so people didn't, most people don't look at the date when these things are put up. They just look at the news and say, oh my God, you're wrong. It's like, it doesn't matter that this came up like a month ago, before any of this information was public knowledge. But regardless, I want to know what your opinion is. Are you shocked that they moved all this stuff? Do you still want to see some of these movies? Do you think that they're going to be pushed again? Do you think we're going to see another push as we get closer to the summer if things don't necessarily improve? Do you have any opinions about this? Put them in the comments below. As usual, I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button. Subscribe. And remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?